So this is the place just for feedback. What is it? What was the takeaway from the conversation with your partner? What is the takeaway for awareness of that, again, of that bigger picture? You may have lost parts of the pieces, and hopefully they're there this time. So Orlanta, what's up for you?
So we talked about a few things, but for me, the part that stuck out was when you mentioned that as long as there's domination energy, home is always going to be unstable. And I always had in my mind that home was always 100% stable. So it just, again, made me remember how important our work is when there's this duality of home versus domination. We continue to do our work and the balance will shift towards home.
Thanks, Orlanta.
My takeaway was, I appreciate going over the information again. I've heard this many, many times. And I would like more practical application. So like we know this, Charlie Kirk was killed this morning. How can we make the most of our galactic history and, I don't know, clearing out other outsiders, sagos, etc., possibly without murder as being the first choice. Dealing with these energies, getting rid of these energies, practical application. That's what I was thinking about, was more practical application of the information. And that's me.
And I have a comment and a question. And the question first, so I think what I heard today is that outsiders also came from home and that they chose a different agenda, if you will, yet we are all a part of source, I guess, and that's my question. Is that true? We are all part of the whole picture. We are all of good. Is that just yes or no? No. Okay. So I would like to understand that. That's kind of my catch-all. I'm struggling because I listened to something that Sharon guided yesterday, where the statement "we are all one" was the theme. It seemed to me to be a theme, and it had me wondering, such that I woke up this morning, who are we one with? Like, is that everybody? And in my background of 3 decades or more, we are all one, and some have forgotten their goodness, right? And so I'm just trying, it's a stickler, a little, that's where I'm stuck. And then secondly, just a comment, the more I hear this and I'm observing in myself, the less trust, the less patience I have for men in general. And that maybe that's just deep-seated and emerging. I don't know, but that's where I am. Thank you.
I have comments and questions as well. So I look at spiritual work, I think, through an energetic lens. I see things as energy. And so one of the things that I've observed in outsider energy, and I think most of you probably can agree or understand what I'll say, is that outsider energy tends to pull humans into a certain vibrational range. And they definitely are the ones who like to create the energetic vibrational frequencies that dwell in anger and fear and frustration and hatred and guilt and shame and all of those really lower vibration energies. And so I think it's been part of my practice to raise my energy intentionally for decades, but it makes even more sense when you realize that as an energy being yourself, that your responsibility is to keep your vibration above the field that they're trying to enmesh us in. That there's something about walking in peaceful neutrality, I don't know what else to call it, that allows you to be walking in 3 dimension, but not tethered down into it. It's almost as walking just above it, outside of duality, the way they're trying to continually keep recreating this duality. And that's my comment. And the other one is about, Sharon, it's about the command to move energy to extinction. So Einstein said, and he's a lot smarter than me, that energy never, quote unquote, dies, it only transforms. So I need some help understanding when we move it to extinction, what does that mean?
Mhm. Okay, Pat, you're on.
Oh, I thought we were going to get the answer.
Oh, no, not yet.
Well, I was with Tara, and she's been studying with you for a very long time, so she will have some good comments. But mine was just trying to separate myself now, and she mentioned this too, separate myself from people I may have known for a long, long time, but who basically can't separate the truth from what they're told, whether it's by doctors or whoever. And it's very interesting to me. And it's very sad too, because I just don't see the purpose. I don't think I'm going to be able to hang out, so to speak, with people who come from those points of view, because I'm not going to argue with them. And I really, they don't seem to want to listen. I can't. So if people are not open, why would I be there? And I really am so looking forward to speaking so that I can say what I really think and feel, and then really attract people who are drawn to that, rather than worrying largely about anyone else when I can't influence them unless I do this other work well, so to speak. Maybe I could, but if I can do that really well. So it is nice to know that there's some defense for yourself against bad energy. And I was telling Tara, I've just been inundated by scammers and fraudsters. I have never seen so much stuff in my life. And people who are persistent, I mean, they just don't want to let go. And I've said everything except that they're nice.
Yeah.
So that's my take on what you
Thanks.
said. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. It's kind of like Orlantha. When home is unstable with domination energy, and I've been going through being at the hospital for myself, and then my sister-in-law fell and broke her hip and had to have emergency surgery, and being there after that, and then the nursing home, and now trying to get her assisted living and dealing with all of that. And I come home exhausted. And even though I put on my protection and I do stuff during the day, I'm not doing enough. And I'm seeing how much like the insurance companies are controlling everything. And they tell you today that she's being released Saturday, but the place we finally found to take her, but we didn't know even if she'd be released next week or this week. doesn't take people on Saturdays. It's only Monday through Friday. So then you have to change up. But anyway, so it's just been crazy and all the stuff to do and how she can't afford it and there's no help. And it's like this just horrible, upsetting thing to me, that trying to figure out how to do it and how to do it, get her the help she needs, but not feel like I have to do it all for her and be put on. And the other thing that came up to me was I had a friend staying here that I've known for many, many years, and she does a lot of good work and knows a lot of stuff. But then she goes off in her personal things of anger and blame for everybody else, and did that at the end of her stay. And I was coming into my house and afterwards, and it wasn't my place of refuge anymore with all that energy that had been in the house, because it had been domination energy in the house that I'm not used to. And that was weird for me to walk into my house and go, this isn't my house. And then come from the hospitals and places and go, this isn't quite my refuge right now. So it's really just, I need to up my game of discernment and protection. And even though I try to do it, I find that I get tired and it's kind of just pounding on all directions and setting up my shields and my defenses. And, but it just really showed me how I keep thinking of domination energy as being the really bad stuff, war and things, but it's not just, I mean, and the big greed of, some of the insurance companies, but it can just be people in their domination energy that really aren't in the energies of home, and how much that can take me out to be around them, and how much I've been seeking out several people who are just totally home energy. And it's just so lovely. And then I went to those people's house last night for thing, but they had some other people there, and just realizing domination energy in other forms, like certain people who always have to dominate the conversations and they don't want to hear what you have to say. And it's domination in minor forms, but it's still negating who you are with not wanting to be reciprocal and giving any. It's just becoming more aware of it on a whole different level. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Yeah, it's interesting just listening to everyone else's comments so far. I think those are all things that we all deal with, especially when we're at a higher frequency. And it's something I'm working on right now. Is I set my protections every day, but it's hard to set boundaries with family members, especially because I've noticed that I've been isolating myself more. I don't know if that's the right word, but maybe avoiding, just because I don't want that energy around me, but sometimes we don't have a choice. And I just recently went on a trip with my husband, and I went back to see family in New York, and we traveled with my brother and his wife, and we stayed with them in an Airbnb, and we were traveling with them for about 5 days straight. And when we got home, we were completely drained. And I know it wasn't the trip, it wasn't the fact that we were traveling, it wasn't any of that. It was because my brother and his wife, like Deborah mentioned, and Margie brought this up too, about being at that low vibration of depression, anxiety, lack, just all the things that get us stuck in that deep 3D mire. And I don't know how to just say, I can't listen to you talk about this crap anymore, because it's like I want to hold space. But I also don't want to interfere with their journey. But where's I don't know if it would be a compromise or kind of like that sweet spot where I don't feel that especially my brother, is ready to hear anything like what we talk about. I mean, to him, it's all just like woo-woo weird stuff. He's, Mr. Logical. He's not in touch with his emotions, all of the things. And so do I just stand back and let him figure it out? Or do I reach a hand out? Or like, how does that work? What's the best way to go about that? And still have a boundary for myself energetically to not let that, interfere with me. Yeah. So that's where I'm. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard this many times. But it's, just solidifying things for me, to hear the story. But I was with Pat and, we're just talking about, the more that you raise your vibration and heal yourself, the more you're going to be realizing the mismatch that you have around other people. Because I really pretty much eliminated almost all my friends. They're just stuck in the 3D complaining victim, whatever. And you realize you start getting kind of, irritated by that stuff. And so I just have boundaries. Occasionally I will talk to some of them, but I'll just change the subject if they start complaining about something. Or I'll, shorten the visit if I do see them. But I don't get triggered by things anymore. So I do see, you start to see and realize all the people sitting there judging other people and I don't know, stuff like that. And you start to see, like, as an observer, because you're pulling out of that outsider behavior, because we all had it, right? All of us. And you start pulling away from it and you start seeing it in everybody else. And see who's holding on to heavier amounts of it and not. And I know Sharon's explained it to us before, maybe not in this group, but it's like people have cloaks on, right? We were all covered in a big hooded cloak of negativity and outsider energy and patterns and that recycle of negative stuff, like trapped in this, prison cloak. Man, it takes work to take the layers off and finally get the hood off so you can start hearing and seeing the truth, which is what we're all here doing. So we're, once you get the cloak off, now everyone else, we're just kind of waiting. And the work that we're doing here is helping us remove that energy that's keeping everyone else on the planet cloaked. So what we're doing, I think, is really important to help all of us rise together. Thank you.
Okay, really a lot of really good things here. So I want to go back to beings of intelligence, beings of light, emerging, birthing from home, with possibly their agenda being innovators, we'll say. Whatever of home, of balance, they decided to coalesce around, we'll say innovation. At that moment, at that time, they are beings of light in accordance to home energy, choosing to experience and use one aspect of home, just like our families, at that moment of time. As soon as they made the decision to use their gift of innovation to entrap and use others, they made a choice to disconnect from home. They made a choice to bring an energy of domination, harm into their world and their agenda. They are no longer beings only of light. That is a choice they made. It didn't come from injury. It came from a conscious choice, which they had the right to do. And they, instead of using their gift of innovation to end disease, to end homelessness. They chose to use that gift for their own and grind, whatever, for their own glory. They become narcissistic by choice. They became sociopaths by choice. Their nature changed because they chose it to change. They put codes within their flow of home that made them, by choice, outsiders, no longer one with home. They are a danger to us, and home will not allow them back. Home will not allow them back. Because if home, that intelligent beings that are of us, allowed them back, they would destroy home. All life forms would end. So therefore, that those who are of domination agenda, and that's different than those crippled or influenced by dominators. That's a difference. Those who are dominators by choice, by agenda, the entirety of the field of life, and I will show you that field again, have said they cannot exist at all. Gaia has said they cannot exist here. The divine families, and this is recent, this is within the last year, the divine families have said they cannot exist in humanity. Our divine families in galactic world said they cannot exist here. The galactic councils, which are multiple, said they cannot exist here. Laniakea says they cannot exist here. Beyond Laniakea says no. Beyond the boundary wall says no. They are not allowed to exist anywhere. And that is not by our decree as women. It is by the decree of multiple collectives and worlds of beings of intelligence who hold home energy in their own way. They cannot exist anywhere. They must be identified, neutralized, contained, unplugged, brought into the little octopus, retracted, taken back to their originating place, and made extinct dust. Extinct dust. Now, does that mean that eventually that soul energy might recoup and transform? Have no idea. Have no idea. We've got enough on our plate. So when I say we are one, I'm giving you the title of those various councils and teams that work with us. All of those teams, the PTO team is in here, the PAG team's in here, but the teams that work with us are beyond number. They exist through the entire field of life. And they are the ones that says this collective immense team, we are naming ourselves. We are one. WOA. We are one. So I hope that brings understanding. There are, and you do not have the sensitivity to tell if someone in your life who is acting with discounting, with abuse, with put down, you have no way of knowing if that is a star being influenced by, puppeted by, or if that energy is literally a being of domination in a soul body, a human body. You have no way of knowing. So that person acting in that way, and that is exactly what we have been programmed by Russia. this is way, and beyond that, but even by Russia, to act in this way where this is what we believe, and it doesn't matter what the facts are, it doesn't matter how many things rain down, they will not listen. That is absolutely a programming in the last 30 years. But it's beyond that. So you do not have any way of knowing if somebody in your life is puppeted and has 10% influence energy, or is literally a dominator soul. You don't need to. Because any energy that you sense that is in any degree off of embracing and love and empowering, any energy that's off in any of those ways, you bring in the We Are One team, the PTO team, and say, I'm turning this over to you to deep six it, to deep six the energy. They know how to discern where the frequencies are anchored, what the frequencies are, trace it back to its origin. They have the absolute ability and requirement to say, yes, I will get it done. Yes, I will get it done. So that's one practical application that we use for sure, right? And there's lots of practical applications that we'll but not go through all tonight, right? So just remember that there is an agenda to dominate. Now, in the past, when I started to be shown things, I thought that almost everything I believed was exactly wrong, exactly opposite. Men are assertive, women are what were we supposed to be? Handmaidens. Backward, almost everything. So the agenda to get rid of outsiders is priority for all of us. And it used to be all we could do is survive. So if we'd sit in meditation in the quiet in the mountain, at least we didn't create more negativity. It was a way of surviving. Can it be a way of turning this thing around? Yes, now with the Sophia authority, and now we have the Christ heart authority. Sophia is authority from the solar plexus of female. Male authority is from the Christ heart of the physical body. And those of you who were with me on Saturday, did you see that we have a male component? Yeah. Yeah. So so when I say we are one, or talking about one, we are one is literally the title of a group. I mean, that's when I usually use it. Oneness, when I say oneness, home source, I'm speaking of that balance. The sovereignty is also where dominators don't exist. Sovereignty. I am one. I am one with all that is good. Now, right now, what's really important is that you choose your presence, your frequencies. Margie talked about frequencies. We are not in a world totality, but we're in groups. I'm in communities where I can say we are one. I mean, I can feel home every time I'm there. You know, it's there. It's not everywhere in my life, but it's a lot of places of my life. So when it's important to begin with, I am consciously creating. I am responsible for the design. I am given directive and responsibility to guard and to have evil removed. So when my frequencies get hit, which it has in the last little while, and I feel out of my own good mind, what is it that I need to do? My question to myself will be, what practical applications, what tools do I have to get myself back into that space? And right now, 999 yesterday, deep combobulation for everybody. Good, good, good. Tomorrow, 9/11. What do you think that's going to be? What was it before? It was a big hit that said something's wrong, right? What will tomorrow bring? What do you want tomorrow to bring? You're a conscious creator, and it's your and having tools and support to keep you in that connection to home, because you're going to be knocked out. You're going to not be knocked off periodically. What I was shown as, and this was before Sophia, so Sophia has made a huge difference. What I was shown in my work, it was in 97, 98, and I had just returned from traveling. And I'm sitting at the computer, and you remember those stacks? We used to have a stack here. Here's the computer, and here's the stack. And I'm doing my computer, getting whatever, and they said, look over at the stack. And I did, and they said, what do you see? I said, it's a mosquito. And I said, what does it look like? I said, it looks like a stealth bomber. They said, yeah, what's a stealth bomber? It's a spy plane. Yeah, it's a spy plane. You say, I am being spied on. They said, yes. You are bringing attention to your work. And so you need to pay attention to that, because you are making yourself known. What about? Not because I have a higher vibration. Higher vibrations, outsiders don't care about that. They don't care. If you have a higher vibration, all you are doing is creating juiciness. Juiciness. What they care about is whistleblowers, or those who have the ability to get rid of them. And I have the ability to get rid of them. So I was a threat, not because I had a higher frequency, not because I was teaching higher frequency, but because I was given enough knowledge to get rid of them. Therefore, I was a threat. So part of the cocoon has the commands in for safety because of that little mosquito sitting on my computer those many years ago. So realize that if you just have the ability to keep people happy and hopeful and light and hoping, you'll probably be left alone by the outsiders. But you guys all have the ability with Sophia to have them removed with great help. And so, yes, keep yourself protected. And if you feel off, get yourself back into balance. Okay? Let me see here. I want to mention, I got up this morning and I showed you the picture. We've got to start discerning what women we're going to, people got to be aware of. Where are you going to put your, really focus on those who have really taken a stand. And so I put that picture together, and lo and behold, a lot of women didn't get it. They didn't get it. That there are some women who are working with the outsiders, if you will. They're working with the dominators. They're fawning all over the dominators. And we don't need them in our group. We don't need them in the group. They're not going to change. The mind control has been so deep for so long. We're looking for walk-ins. We're looking for the walk-ins that have taken over the body. We're looking for those who have broken free, and they're listening for others who know the same so that we can be together. So that's what we're looking for. And so here we are at this point in time of saying, who are we? Who are we? And I sent out, I think it was a video, and I'm just going to go over here. With reality statements that I found that the big wave of the shift, it might be totally good, mostly all good, whatever, it's still decombobulating. So I created some reality declarations because I felt I needed to get myself, because I felt like I wasn't even powerful even. So I said, I'm a presence, a female authority voice of Sophia within the greater collective of we are one. And that's that great network. We are one. Our voice reaches into all dimensions to be answered with yes and done. As a Sophia standing in the collaboration of all, we are one collectives who are beyond number. I held declarations as authority for actions of yes and done. I stand with those who will not be moved, those beyond our world, they are not shaken. So I got up this morning and I thought of many of you in this group because I read a little bit of what was going on in the country. And I went, this is not okay. We on this planet, we in these bodysuits are watching people die, for God's sakes. We are watching, we don't have time. So I went to our team, the Golden Dragons, who came together in June, remember? I said, do we have women who had female experiences, who should be strong as lions and wolves and say no? And they said yes, and they put together a plan. So I went and I said, I'm talking to you guys. What is the time frame for having the sagos removed? The sagos are a unique group of outsiders whose bodies are almost impenetrable because it's only 20% of Earth and 80% of their home. So we have been working to eliminate the energy of ownership of the sagos, and there's 300 of them on the planet. They are in bodysuits. These are souls who are dominators, and they are in bodysuits, and they are doing the corruption and holding the corruption in bodysuits. Now get that. And I said, what's the time frame for these sagos to be gone? And they said, I think they said 3 years. I went, no way. No way, Jose. No way, 3 years. No way at all. These beings have to be gone by January 1st, 2006. They have to be gone. And I could see so many of you going like, yes, whether you knew you were there with me or not, but I felt you there with me. No, 3 years, we'll be dead. Too many will be dead. No, that's not okay. I said, how long before the new systems, the new organizations will start to show up, with the walk-ins, etc. And they said 6 years. I said, no way. We give you 3 in 3 years. You've got to rearrange plans. I don't care what you do. We are here having the experiences, and it's our job to tell those in spirit what needs to change. And that plan needed to change. And I said, no way will we wait for sagos. I do not have any qualms. This is me. I have no qualms about how those bodies are removed. I have no qualms. Those bodies are absolutely dangerous, destructive, and they cannot stay. However, those bodies are removed. Now I'm going to stand with that. We cannot tolerate 3 years worth of what's going on now. We cannot. And if I'm a presence, a female authority of Sophia within the greater collective of those who are one, I can speak into that field and say, this is my input. You can too. I almost wanted to call every one of you and say, what do you think? But I don't have your phone number. So, our voice reaches into dimensions to be answered with yes, but not just yes, but the other part, done. It is done. So that's what I have to share tonight.
I'd just say January 1st or sooner.
Or sooner. Thank you, Deborah. Or sooner.
Hey, Sharon.
Yeah, Tara.
Wouldn't it be great if somehow the sagos all shot each other?
Maybe they are.
that would be great. Like put them in little gangs like they are downtown Chicago. Shoot them all, shoot each other. Anyway, can you mention to everyone about, like, we had a talk before and you were saying how some of the walk-ins are ready to walk out and get a new walk-ins, just in case other people here in this group, in
Thank you,
addition to
Charlie.
myself, end up having another appearing personality in their family members that they aren't expecting, just in case that happens.
Yeah, I went over that with the group today also, that says, we got this first flow of walk-ins that were supposed to be like 70% of humanity. And I said, and so I said that very thing to this group, that's not the end of it. What's being accomplished is that they are coming in to help build the new systems, the new, culture, new projects, the guardianship around that. And if there's any in that group, they get here and they go like, this is beyond me, or I only need this much experience and I need a new exchange. Totally keep those walk-ins moving in to step into their yes and done. I'm done. I've got it. We've got it. I don't, thank you, Tara. And I did put that in as a criteria this morning. So I'm getting phone numbers. Yeah, thank you.
Sharon, I have a question.
Okay.
So could we, in these sessions, could we all do it? How do you say it? Could we all practice, or could we all conduct that ceremony, as it were, of sending the wrong energy into extinction? Could we do it together?
Yes.
Would you like to do that?
Yeah, but not tonight. Why don't you do this?
No.
Because you'll have the tag processes. It was also asked it was also requested that what process do you use in whatever situation, whatever. So what I'm going to do is I will also have in a situation of outsider type, what other process? I'll have that so you can practice on your own.
Okay.
And we'll do it in a group in part of what we're
great.
And
And that'll be up on your site. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it will be with this video.
And the video is on your site, or you're
Yeah, I
sending it out?
always send you a link to it.
Okay, great.
Send you a link to it. And it will be also on the site. There's a site of a library of all of the tag processes that you can access at any time. It will be on that site too. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for asking. Okay, thank you for all the numbers. I will capture them. I really did want to call out. I mean, I really did want to immediately say, oh, all of us come together, but there was no way I could make it happen. So at least that will be a possibility. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see what next week brings. Let that settle, because you may also find that out of that, there's greater clarity, and then there's some fogginess too. Getting greater and greater clarity, greater and greater conscious creations, greater and greater. How do we stand with all the support we have? I mean, there's a lot, and a lot came in during that second quarter. I mean, it was like every week something new. And I think it's time to settle and see what that means. I love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you too, Sharon.
Love you too.
Love you.
See you Saturday.
Yeah, we'll
Love
see
you all.
Yeah, bye, loves.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.